Hey there, 420 MSP, back with Dan Foote from Anchorage, Alaska. So, sir, we're going to talk about the marijuana handler's card. What is it? And you applied for it. So, what's going on?
Well, the marijuana handler's card is required of anybody that's in the industry that works for a cannabis concern. I believe it's really it doesn't matter which vertical you're in. If you're a producer, grower, cultivar, um, uh, in a testing facility, you have to have the marijuana handler's card, and it's an interesting test. The test that I took, I know who built it. She's in the industry herself. Is one of our clients. Um, she built this course, all videos and text, um, and it's a 75 question test where you have to get 70% or better correct. So it's not a super high bar to get the card, but it was actually very well done and a good test. A lot of good information, stuff that I hadn't known or never bothered to go and look up. But it touched a lot on regulations and et cetera. And now it's just a matter of the process of waiting to receive the card. And we're looking forward to that, getting all of our technicians with the handler's card, because it does make our entrance and our working with our clients and prospects that much better, that much more graceful. You still have to sign in whenever you go in someplace, but with a handler's card, you don't have to necessarily be escorted.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's very interesting. And then, so the technicians would have to go through the same process, and if I'm hearing you
correct.
right, the exam and all that. Um,
Yeah. And the costs. I think
oh,
the total cost, let's see, because we are a member of the AMIA, the industry association up here, we got a 10% discount on the test per user, but the test was $50. Then you have to get the criminal background check. That's $20, and then you have to submit for the card. That's another $50. Um, oh, and you have to provide a passport quality or type photo, 2x2 selfie they call it. Um, I went and bought one at Costco because it was easier than trying to do a selfie and make it 2x2 for their needs. So, um, but we're excited about that, and we're excited about the fact that we've received a request for an assessment for another company up here in the cannabis industry, and we're meeting with them tomorrow's Thursday, tomorrow afternoon. So, we're moving very forward on our cannabis push. I think I'm actually going to have to do like Luis Alvarez did down in California and get a separate domain for a website for this. But you know, because there still is that stigma out there. It's
yeah,
unfortunate. Um, our clients run clean shops. They're no loitering. You know, they're well maintained, pleasant to walk into, and people that cause trouble are 86th. Get out of here. Don't come back. Photos posted on the walls, etc. You actually wish that you could see that happen in sometimes in the grocery store when you run into somebody that just runs amok and thinks that
yeah.
he or she is king or queen of whatever.
No, I know, I know. The how many hours end to end would you say your the process was? How many Dan hours did it take to get from A to Z on the card? If you had to
Let's
guess.
see. The going through the coursework and the test, I spent the better part of Saturday afternoon doing that. probably about 4.5 hours in there. I think the test said it took me 51 minutes to go through. And it's an open book test, which was nice, so I could go back
Yeah.
to the relatable material. That was actually the easy part. Going and getting all of the other things in order, and finding the forms, and then having to run around town. That actually took just about as much time. But you're going from this facility to that facility, this office to that office, and then to the post office to get it all mailed off. So, it probably took even more time when I really sit down and think about it.
Well, and where I'm going with that, and it's kind of my final observation, is that I get it. I get my time, I get your time, but when you start talking about your staff going through the same process, that's some real staff time, Dan. That's kind of where I was going, is that you're making a big
Yeah.
commitment with your staff.
Yeah, and it depends on whether they can do the test in one shot, or if it takes them. Well, you're given 10. Like I say, the bar is low as far as getting through it, but you have to pass the course. And you're given 10 opportunities. So, if it took me 45, 50 minutes to do the test once and pass, imagine if somebody's having to do it 2 or 3 times. I can't imagine somebody having to do it more than that, especially my technicians. I don't see that happening at all. Maybe, I think everybody will pass it the first time through.
Okay.
But
Yeah. No, and I'll end on this. Now I'll connect the dots as to why I was going there. When Knights were bold and Kings owned the gold, I was doing the whole MCSE certification thing. You remember back in the day?
oh yeah,
And I ended up writing some guides. That's an aside. When I actually had to do the MCSE, and I did a couple of different majors, I would call them. Like one was NT Server, the other was SQL Server. Let's call them majors, or concentrations, but SQL Server. So Dan, I worked for a large regional accounting firm in Seattle in the 90s, Clark Nuber, and we had the network consulting practice with Great Plains. And you had to have someone on staff certified in SQL Server, and I drew the short straw, man. And
man,
it took 100 hours. I mean, I had to learn a new,
easily.
I had to learn a new thing, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it's really cool, and I still can do a SQL statement to hello world at the command line. But the
Yeah.
but the point is, think of it from the accounting firm. So 100+ hours of Harry over 3 months, and then Dan, because it was hard, I took 1 or 2 of those exams twice. I think I took one exam 3 times. We got across the finish line and we could sell Great Plains Dynamics, but that's where I'm going is, folks, we always want to weave in business speak into these visits, and there's a real cost to this, brother.
There is, and really thank God that they haven't learned how to do testing the Microsoft way, with these totally ambiguous questions with 4 answers out of 5 that could be right, but the one that you think is the right one isn't the right. I've been down that testing path before. Those are the, Microsoft. They make some of the most obtuse test questions you could ever ask for. Yeah,
I know.
We've been there. We've been
Yeah,
there. Any technician with any certification has been there.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to see you next month, Dan, and we'll double click down into further conversations concerning cannabis technology, cannabis, and I always like an Alaska spin. So thank you, sir, for your time. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Harry. It's good to talk to you again, and appreciate the time.